So you may or may not know I'm on the road right now and I'm meeting all these amazing musicians, and I've become friends with Michael Lewin, and I'm so honored and grateful. He's been showing me around Boston this morning, and here we are at the Boston Conservatory of Music, and I just realized I should be interviewing him for you all to get to know him better. So Michael is a world-class classical pianist, and he's played around the world.
Yep.
And he just released a record, a collection of Debussy's work, his renditions. Is that how you would say that?
Yeah, interpretation.
Interpretation of Debussy, and it's just beautiful. So, how long have you been playing music? How did you start? Did you start with the piano?
When I was 5, I went with my father to Carnegie Hall. And it was my first time there, and it was this famous Italian pianist, and it was sold out, but they had the last 2 tickets on the top balcony against the wall. It's very high up, and we got those tickets, and I don't know, somehow when he walked out, and just the way he was dressed, and the way he acted, and the way he played, and the music, I just recognized that that's what I was, or that's what I wanted to be.
Like most 6-year-olds start playing with the teacher down the block who teaches piano from her house. Did you start there, or did you start out with classical training right away?
Well, I mean, a lot of those local people are essentially giving you a classical background. I mean,
Yes.
At least theory and scales and whatnot, But, I mean, beginning books are really so genre-specific. I mean, classical,
Right.
classical. But, yeah, I mean, I went through a few of those teachers, so I found somebody who was okay.
A serious teacher.
Yeah, and then,
And then at 14, you started at Juilliard.
Juilliard pre-college, so I would go to, or supposedly I went to normal school during the week, and then on Saturday I would go into Manhattan and go to Juilliard for that day. So we had theory and piano and chamber music and whatever. And then I continued for bachelor's and master's.
One of the things I've really enjoyed about our conversations today is that we musically just come from such different worlds. I'm actually quite new to listening to music myself, and you're immersed in music that you've already said is 300 years old. Quite
some,
the history.
but
of
I'm also
classical
learning
music.
a sonata that was written 2 years ago. So.
And who's the composer of that?
His name is Mohammed Fairouz. He's an Arab-American young composer that's writing sort of very beautiful fusion of sort of Arabic, Jewish, contemporary sort of music. It's very powerful.
I love that about music today, and all the fusion of different cultures that are becoming available. It just because music is moving in any culture, but because their expression of it is so different from region to region, country to country, having certain things mesh is just amazing.
Yeah.
And you just recorded actually on an album for an artist out of South Africa.
Well, yeah,
And India.
Yeah, I guess. Well, these are friends of mine, and they asked me to be part of their project. I guess it's a very collaborative project. Many people are involved, but what they specifically asked me to do was record a specific Chopin nocturne. And so I went to New York and recorded the Chopin nocturne. And then it's I guess a new age world sort of album. And so then on top of that, I mean, this is very new for me, but for me actually nothing was different because I went to New York to a recording studio and I recorded my Chopin nocturne and went home. I mean,
Right.
But then on top of that, they layered on flute and vocal stuff and chorus. And
And so what is your, I guess you've explored so many different types of music in classical music. So is there a certain area of classical music you prefer? Like what Debussy, is he German?
He's French.
French.
So that's part of what they would call Impressionism.
Okay.
So it's the same period they went through painting and music. The two composers that are most famous are Ravel and Debussy. But it's at the time of Renoir and Monet and all this Impressionism.
So do you connect with that most, or I guess you just go through phases, really, right?
No, I wouldn't say. I say maybe when I was starting out and I became famous for playing Liszt, which is romantic music and big virtuoso music, and I won a big Liszt competition, and my first record was a Liszt record. So I guess initially it was with romantic music, and then it spread. I didn't want to be typecast. What I call classical music and you call classical music are two different things.
I'm sure.
So classical music for me would mean the classical period. So that would mean like Beethoven, Mozart, Haydn,
right,
Schubert.
The classical
classic,
music.
The Germanic classical era.
Okay.
But I mean, even though they call me a classical pianist, I mean, that's only a small segment of what I play, although it's a very important segment. But if I'm playing Bach or Scarlatti, that's Baroque, or Debussy or Ravel, that's Impressionistic, or Chopin is Romantic, or whatever.
And I referenced contemporary music earlier, and you're like,
so
well, that's not what I would call contemporary.
Right, so contemporary music for me is this guy who wrote this sonata for me.
Today.
That's contemporary music, not Pink Floyd.
Which was the reference.
But it's okay. I mean, it's all a question of context, I guess.
Yeah. It's been phenomenal to hang out with you today. Thank you for showing me around Boston and all the music buildings, and
we're happy to have you here and look forward to having you back.
Thank you, and thank you for letting me sing in the concert hall.
Yeah, cool.
That's so great. Okay, thank you. Bye.